There is a simple rule that quietly separates children who grow into confident, capable, independent adults from those who grow up unsure of themselves, dependent on approval, and afraid to make decisions. It's not a strict routine, not a disciplined method, not a motivational phrase. It's a way of showing up as a parent that builds strength without force and resilience without pressure. The rule is this: never do for your child what they are capable of doing themselves. It sounds straightforward, almost too simple. But in practice, this rule reshapes a child's entire development. Because independence is not something that magically appears when a child turns 18. It's built in small, ordinary moments when a child is faced with a challenge, an inconvenience, a difficulty, and instead of having the solution handed to them, they're given the chance to figure it out. Emotionally intelligent parents understand this rule not as a push to make children grow up faster, but as a gradual transfer of responsibility. It's the difference between rescuing a child and preparing them. When children are allowed to struggle just enough to discover their own abilities, something incredible happens inside them. They start to trust themselves. They start to feel the weight of "I can do this." And that feeling grows into lifelong independence. Most parents step in too quickly, not because they want to hold their children back, but because love often disguises itself as protection. When a child is struggling to tie their shoes, it feels kind to take over. When they're pouring juice and spilling it everywhere, it feels efficient to do it for them. When they're trying to speak to a cashier and freeze up, it feels natural to answer on their behalf. But every time a parent steps in, the child receives an unspoken message: "You can't." "I'll do it." Over time, those little moments stack up. The child absorbs them. And self-trust, one of the core ingredients of independence, never fully develops. Parents don't mean to communicate incapability, but children are incredibly sensitive to the patterns around them. They notice who zips their jacket every morning. They notice who speaks up when they hesitate. They notice who fixes their mistakes before they can learn how to correct them. They notice who rushes in. And slowly, they learn to wait rather than act. They learn dependence instead of initiative. The rule, "never do for your child what they can do themselves," interrupts that cycle. It allows the child to do the slow, messy, imperfect version first. It lets them experience frustration, small failures, and the pride that follows effort. It teaches them that their hands, their mind, their decisions matter. That they don't have to lean on someone else for every problem. That they can handle life in small doses, even when it's uncomfortable. Independence is not built from ease. It's built from opportunity. Think about how toddlers insist, "I do it." They are wired with a natural desire for autonomy. But as children grow older, that instinct can fade if parents unintentionally overshadow it with constant help. The result is a child who's capable but unsure, smart but anxious, talented but hesitant. They doubt themselves because they've been deprived of the experiences that build certainty. This rule gives those experiences back. When a child dresses themselves, even if the shirt is inside out, they learn coordination, patience, and self-expression. When they make their own snack, even if the kitchen looks like a battlefield, they learn responsibility, effort, and follow-through. When they talk to adults for themselves, even if their voice is quiet, they learn communication, courage, and social confidence. When they solve problems, whether it's a broken toy, a school question, or a friendship issue, they learn critical thinking and resilience. Every act of doing for themselves becomes a building block. Every solved problem becomes a brick in their foundation. Every challenge becomes a rehearsal for adulthood. This rule also teaches something deeper: the difference between support and rescue. Support means guiding, encouraging, explaining, being present. Rescue means taking over because it's faster, cleaner, or easier. Children don't need rescuers, they need guides. A guide stands beside the child, not in front of them. A guide lets them try, fail, adjust, and try again. A guide protects the child from danger, not discomfort. Discomfort is where growth happens. And this rule isn't about perfection. Parents don't need to force independence before a child is ready. Independence should be offered, not demanded. A child who feels safe trying is a child who eventually succeeds. A child who is pressured to perform becomes anxious and withdrawn. Emotionally intelligent parents understand that timing is everything. They watch for signs of readiness, and when they see it, they step back, not away, but back, creating space for the child to move forward. This rule also strengthens emotional resilience. When children are allowed to figure things out, they learn that frustration is a normal part of learning, not a reason to quit. They learn that mistakes don't define them, they refine them. They learn patience. They learn persistence. They learn that effort is valuable, even when the outcome isn't perfect. These lessons create adults who don't crumble at the first sign of difficulty, who don't fear challenges, who don't avoid responsibility. Independence is not born from constant instruction, it's born from experience. And experience requires space. Parents often fear stepping back because they associate independence with separation. But independence actually strengthens connection. A child who trusts themselves is more likely to trust their parent. A child who feels capable feels safer in the world. A child who learns autonomy grows into an adult who values their parents' presence, not their control. This rule also reduces power struggles. Many conflicts between parents and children happen because a child is craving control over their own life. When parents enforce this rule, they naturally give children age-appropriate responsibility. The child feels empowered rather than restricted. They don't have to fight for autonomy because they're already being offered it. Arguments decrease. Cooperation increases. Mutual respect grows. In the long run, this rule shapes the way children see themselves. A child who has learned to do things on their own moves through the world with a quiet confidence. They don't shrink from challenges. They don't panic when something goes wrong. They don't wait for someone else to solve their problems. They approach life with an internal compass instead of relying on external directions. They also learn to take pride in their work. They appreciate effort. They recognize how much persistence matters. They feel the satisfaction of completion. That satisfaction becomes their motivation, replacing the need for rewards or external validation. It teaches them to act from self-belief, not pressure. And perhaps the most powerful outcome of this rule is that it teaches children responsibility. True independence isn't just about doing things, it's about understanding that actions have consequences. A child who packs their own backpack remembers what they need. A child who cleans their own room learns to take care of their space. A child who manages their own tasks learns accountability. These skills don't develop when parents constantly clean up, fix, or organize everything for them. Over time, this rule gives the child something even more valuable than independence: ownership. The sense that their life belongs to them. Their choices matter. Their decisions shape their path. And the earlier this mindset is formed, the stronger it becomes. Parents sometimes believe that independence comes later, during teenage years or adulthood. But by then, the patterns are already set. Confidence, initiative, responsibility, these are habits built through repetition, not sudden transformation. A teenager who has never been given responsibility will not magically become self-directed. An adult who has never been allowed to struggle will not suddenly embrace challenges. Independence is a muscle. If it isn't exercised early, it weakens. But when this rule is followed, independence becomes natural. Not forced. Not stressful. Natural. A child who grows up with this rule becomes the adult who fills out forms without help, speaks up when something is wrong, manages their finances, navigates conflict, takes initiative, tries new things, solves problems, and moves through life with grounded confidence. And the parent? They become the guide who prepared their child for the world instead of shielding them from it. The parent who raised a leader instead of a follower. The parent who taught strength not through lectures, but through opportunity. Never do for your child what they are capable of doing themselves. It's not just a rule. It's a philosophy. A shift in mindset. A long-term gift. It's the path to independence paved through everyday moments, a shoelace tied slowly, a snack prepared messily, a problem solved imperfectly, a responsibility handled proudly. Independence is not born in grand gestures. It's built in the quiet moments when a parent steps back just enough for their child to step forward. And every step forward becomes the foundation of the adult they will one day become.